Here are the 3 most common mistakes that presenters make with their hand gestures and what you should do instead. Mistake number 1, the fig leaf, standing like this, right? It's kind of like, what are you hiding? why are you hiding? We do it because we're embarrassed. We do it because we're nervous. We do it because maybe we're shy. But holding your hands down like this is closed off. It creates, anytime there is closure here, it creates a gap between you and your audience. The second mistake that presenters make with their hands is the reverse fig leaf, right? So they're standing out here and it's like, I'm standing at attention. Are you in the military or why are we being so formal? Okay, so you don't have to be like this. Again, people get nervous and so they just kind of do this by default. But this means you're not utilizing your hands, which are part of you. Your gestures are a part of your presentation. The third mistake that people make with their gestures is they do rigid. They do the rigid and they're stuck with their hands by their side and it's like I'm a robot. I have data to give to you. Please enjoy this presentation. Okay? Don't do that. You want to use your hands. You want to use your gestures. And here's 5 ways to use your gestures in a way that will enhance or improve the quality of your presentation. So, number 1 is timeline. Use your gestures to lay out a timeline. The past is always to your right, which will be the audience's left. So if you're talking about when I was young or back when I was in high school or the first time I got married, you're going to refer to this direction. And that's going to anchor that direction to the history or to the past. And you can use gestures and also you can walk in the direction of stage left, which is the audience's right, whenever you're talking about the future, your ambitions, your goals, your dreams, right? Relatedly, that is how we also anchor a lot of times our mistakes are to the past and our dreams and our hopes and our goals are to the future. The second way to use your hands and to make gestures that will improve your presentation is spatially. You want to use your gestures to point out where things are in relation to each other, right? So if there is a car accident, like I talk about in my 2006 World Championship speech, which was the one where I lost, but if I was talking about a car accident and I say, I was driving 60 miles an hour, coming around a corner at 11 p.m. at night, and out of nowhere, this 2,000-pound cow was standing right in the middle of the road. It slammed into my windshield, rolled onto the roof, squashed the roof down, and the front and the rear windshield exploded, right? See how spatially I'm laying out, I'm hologramming the stage, I'm hologramming a set. That's a much different experience than if I say, I was driving down the road late at night and I hit a cow and it was very scary, right? Notice the difference in the experience of using my gestures to sort of stage it. Even it's kind of like how a mime would work, but not so intensely. But that is a great way to use your gestures. The third way to use gestures is to demonstrate magnitude. Is it really, really big or is it really, really small? Notice the impact. If I say it was big versus if I change my voice and I use my gestures, it was huge, right? Or it was so tiny, right? I'll never forget the first time my first home that I bought, it was so tiny, right? I was living in a closet. Like the experience is dramatically enhanced for the listener or the viewer just by using your arms and using your gestures and using your body and using your voice to demonstrate an order of magnitude, right? It was like when I grew up, we had a station wagon and that thing was long. It went 2 zip codes, right? And we would ride in the back of that huge station wagon. I'm demonstrating the magnitude. Or, you know, is it a little tiny smart car and I'm driving around in my little one-seater, you know, going through town trying to find like tiny parking spaces and tiny gas tanks. That's small versus big. So just use your arms and use your gestures to demonstrate the order of magnitude. Number 4 is use gestures to demonstrate direction, right? Be directional. So don't just say the rocket shot up, right? Like it shot up into the night sky. What you want to say is, it shot up into the night sky. Major difference, right? I mean, you see the impact of just using your gestures to amplify and to underscore and to reiterate the things that you're saying with your words. If you're like, we were on the roller coaster and here we're going up, 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 down. That change with your body, your voice, your hands, it accentuates the words, which is what gestures should do. They shouldn't be distracting, right? Like, you're also not acting, but you're accentuating the words, accentuate directions, right? Were we moving fast, or were we moving so painfully slow? That is directional, right? That's directional in terms of thinking about speed, north, south. I was lost would be, that's an example of a direction. So if you're saying I was lost, don't just say I was lost. Say I was lost. I was turned around, and you're accentuating that point. And finally, number 5, the 5th way to use your gestures to emphasize your points is relationally, using them relationally. So you're going to kind of, when you compare and contrast things, right? Men are this way, women are this way. I used to think this, and now I think this. There's cat lovers and there's dog lovers. Anytime you're talking about relationally, you, especially if there's 2 parties, demonstrate the groups with your hands. And then once you have the groups, you can talk about how they are in conflict with each other, or how as time goes on, maybe they're coming closer together, or maybe they're diverging and they're coming further apart, right? So that would be a combination of directionally and also relationally when you're demonstrating these groups. And you always want to sort of talk about if there's multiple people in a story or in a scene. You say, I'll never forget, I was standing here, my brother was over here, and my sister was over here. That's relationally. So there you have it, the 3 most common mistakes that presenters make with their hand gestures, and 5 ways that you can actually use your gestures to make your presentation more engaging. If you want to learn more tips on how to become a better presenter, and specifically how to become a professional speaker and get paid for delivering presentations, click the link around this video and request a free call with our team, and we'll talk to you about how we do that. I hope to talk to you soon.